Once more into the verse, this latest book features the crew of Serenity back for another adventure. Coming to take a lucrative job, everything seems normal, but that's par for the course for our beloved characters. The 7th book in the ongoing series, I settled in once again for another tale with the crew of Serenity. In the familiar world of the verse, we step into a universe much different than most of the sci-fi worlds we know. Years after the War for Independence, the Alliance controls the central planets, and on the outer rim people struggle to make a life for themselves any way they can. On a small cargo ship called Serenity, a diverse band of people from many different backgrounds travel the edge of space together. Another book set during the run of the series, we see all 9 of the main cast traveling together on their latest job. Arriving on Planet Carey, they are treated to fancy parties, lots of platinum, and all the tasty treats they can stand. But it turns out that the face the planet presents is far different than the reality just outside the walls of the Duke's compound. And it turns out that the reason they were invited here was more than a simple engagement. It was a cry for help. I'll start by saying this was a good Firefly story. It covered all the main cast well and was overall a decent adventure. Set towards the tail end of the series, it starts to foreshadow Inara's decision to ultimately leave Serenity, positioning her for where she will be when the movie storyline begins. The problem that this book presents is not one of its own making, but rather a consequence of being the 7th in the series. It seems like a good number of the Firefly books pretty much follow the same pattern, that the crew comes for a job which turns out to be one we later learn was something nasty that Mal would never want to be a party to in the first place. Now, while A Job Gone Wrong was a frequent staple of the series, I find that I'm starting to, after 7 books, lose a little bit of the nostalgia in the sense that so far, all 7 have attempted to fill in the gap between the series and the movie. Now granted, there's a lot of ground to cover there, but at the same time, I would like to see more of the novels pick up after where the movie left off. Show us some new characters and expand the verse, rather than trying to fill in the gaps for which there are only so many. On to the book itself. The story was up to the usual standards of quality, with each character getting their fair share of the spotlight. As is often the case, the characters' voices come through well, and the story was both entertaining and interesting. Without giving too much away, I'll say that I enjoyed it and would recommend it as one of the better Firefly books. What stood out to me about this one in particular was how well it balanced the story during its various turns. Though if I had to choose, I'd say the previous book, Carnival, did a better job tackling a very similar premise. It has enough uniqueness that I'd say they're both worth a read. As I say this, it now occurs to me that in the effort of filling in the gaps, part of what bothers me about it at this particular point is the fact that the tales are inherently out of order, with each book providing a helpful notation for where it fits, but much like the show itself, not being released in a sequence that fits their chronological placement. While each book can be enjoyed on its own, I feel it may have played better if there was an overarching narrative discussed beforehand, rather than some being set here and there as the story determined. If you like werewolves, check out my book Blue Moon, available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Catch you later.